Hello Viking Warriors, I'm Johan the Viking Prepper, and when preparing it's easy to lose focus on what needs are met to be truly prepared. So I figured I'd put together this short video about the rules of threes. So stay tuned. When preparing, we want to focus on our core human needs. And these human needs are obvious, but should be in the back of your mind when putting your plan together. So whether it's for your home, vehicle, your bug out kit, or your bug out locations, the rules of three is for any survival situation. And it's an easy way to remember how much time you have for each necessity. Like each step buys you more time to take care of the next issue. So the rules of threes also allows you to focus when your brain is scattered or panicked in a survival situation. So the rules of threes is as follows. You can survive 3 minutes without air, oxygen, or in icy water. You can go 3 hours without shelter in a harsh environment, except when you're injured or not dressed properly or being in cold water. And you can go 3 days without water if sheltered from a harsh environment. And you can go 3 weeks without food if you have water and shelter. Surviving without oxygen for 3 minutes. Well, one big and the most common cause of asphyxiation is carbon monoxide poisoning or carbon monoxide due to like a house fire or poor use of a generator or a blocked tailpipe in a snowstorm. Or someone not knowing better by bringing in a propane barbecue inside the house for heating and cooking at a winter power outage. Another thing to think about having oxygen is also to stay away from hazardous materials, small confined spaces. And if you're in nature, be aware of waterways, avalanches, landslides, and mudslides. 3 hours without shelter. Depending on your location and situation, you need to plan for proper shelter and be careful about your exposure. Are you in desert-like conditions, or are you in the true north where you can be exposed to snowstorms and cold weather? But even if you are the bugging in type, you need to prepare for power outages or other things that could make you exposed to the elements. What about when you're transporting yourself? Do you have a vehicle kit? A kit with you that is in excess of having your bug out bag handy. 3 days without water. Dehydration is huge and occurs much more quickly than you starving to death. But the 3 days without water will really only work if you have a shelter in place and can just sit or lay down there staying in repose. Because if you're physically active and moving, let's say collecting firewood, working on the shelter, or collecting, trying to get food, or maybe walking towards your bug out location. It doesn't matter if it's cold or warm outside, you're still gonna perspire, you're still gonna sweat regardless, and will need water within the 3 days to function normally. Always make sure you have some kind of water filtration device with you at all times. 3 weeks without food. Starvation, it's the same principle as the need for water. The 3 weeks is only really if you're not doing anything physically and are staying in repose, just resting. Otherwise, you'll have the need to add calories for energy. The idea that being a bit overweight and having extra reserves to take from doesn't fully work because your body still needs proper calories to give energy to some of your organs and your brain functions. So if you're on a water-only diet, several key changes will happen. The body needs certain basic components and they're normally provided by your diet to function. So the most important of which is glucose. Once the body takes all it can from the last meal you had, it turns to the liver, which stores glucose and in the form of glycogen. It takes about 24 hours before the liver is relieved of its glycogen stores. And once the glycogen stores of the liver run out after the first 24 hours, the body, your body, will turn to fatty acids for fuel. It'll break down the fatty acids in the reserves of fat in your body and around the organs. But other parts of the body, primarily the brain and the red blood cells, can only function using glucose. And the body takes the glucose from the glycerol in the fat tissues, but it also needs to break down amino acids in the muscle. So it begins the process of muscle deterioration. So even if you are in repose, you will still weaken your body and muscles. So when preparing, always have a long-term food storage supply and enough food in a bug-out bag to last you 72 hours. In that way, you're fully covered, whether you're bug in or you have to leave your home and make your way to one of your bug out locations. You should also have a cache or extra supplies. Remember, the rules of three is a generalization for the average healthy person. If anyone in the family have any health issues with medications or other cares necessary, you have to make arrangements for that, obviously. Now, for instance, someone with the diabetes that is on insulin, they might experience hypoglycemia if they don't eat enough, and they can go into a coma. Now, I hope this helped a bit for when prioritizing your preparedness. And if you like this video and want to get notified when I post my next video, hit that subscribe button and the bell button. And until next time, prepare and stay safe.